And good morning. You'll find the very unfriendly skies of Tironan, and a couple of days ago, you saw a video where I was concerned that I had run across a player that was cheating. And I've come to the conclusion, and you'll note during the video, I laced that with lots of, well, what about this? What about that? Maybe the guy's not cheating. And I'm glad I said it because I've come to the conclusion that I was dead wrong. And here's why. The reason I thought the guy was cheating was because he just ran away from me like I was standing still, and I was in a dive and under boost. And he was more or less in a level flight. And there's similar aircraft. I was flying a Saberjet F-86A. He's flying a MiG-15 BIS, or improved. And they have very similar flight characteristics. But, and this is a big but, got to play with my Banshee the other day. And this is an aircraft where I have already paid for the upgrade. So I'm not going to have it that much longer. And in fact, the sale price on the excuse me, on the aircraft is 1.7, and I require 1.35 mil. So obviously, when I hit the magic number, this is going away, and I'm getting the XF90. All right, so we had that question, and as I said, I didn't really know if the guy was cheating or not, but it looked like it to me. And then I got to playing around with this aircraft because it ticked off all the questions in my mind. Well, that's not necessarily fair, Jeff. Listen, I'm having this conversation with myself. Why do you think that? Well, because we had similar aircraft and he was just flying away from me. Okay, but have you really played with the uprated engine? Well, no. Have you really looked at what some of the pilot skills will do to it? Well, no. And being the ever-questioning guy that I am, I got to playing with this aircraft. I thought, worst comes to worst, you've lost some engine parts, who cares, right? You're going to be changing it out, and I don't know how much of the equipment will move over to the new deal. And I made some changes. Well, first off, if you know me, you know that I really want my guns to be accurate. And you can tell by where I've invested here. This is a 9% sight. And yes, it can be calibrated further, but, go back to my comments on, I don't know if this is going to transfer or not. How much more do you want to spend on? So I got it up to 9%. Well, I do that with all my aircraft. But what I didn't do was I didn't go over here and get the improved uprated engine. I just let it sit stock. As you can see, I put some work into this one now. And again, I can improve it further by going over here to enhanced. And I'd have to go get a bunch of parts, but you would see that this thing would jump up another percentage point, and cruise speed would jump up by another 6%, 0.6%, so forth and so on. Okay, well, that's nice, but it doesn't sound that much, right? Well, there's other things here. So you do this. You come over here to your pilot skills. You can go and get this, the cruise flight. And it increases your view range by 20% and your engine thrust and top speed by 3%. Okay? Now, I have spent the money for Marksman 1 and Marksman 2, and I have no intention of changing that. But let me give you another option. I could have gone with Engine Guru 1 and Engine Guru 2. And we start throwing those together. Thrust is up by 3%. Thrust is up by 2%. and you get another 2% to your top speed. And here, thrust and top speed by 3% when you don't not hit and not being fired on. Okay. We start throwing all those things together, and here's what I came up with. I had some ordnance on this because I was doing some bombing runs. So I was at 404. And I don't know what it is unmodified. I don't have the ability to completely unmodify this without costing myself a lot of money. But I'm going to assume that his cruise speed would have been right at 399. As it was with the ordnance, it was 404. Took the ordnance off because it's not an aircraft I use for ground attack very often. I don't attack ground targets with it very often because that's not really its role. You find yourself turning and burning with other aircraft, and you get shot down quickly. And you should. It's not this aircraft's role. And so I took the ordnance off, and that got me in a boost. And then I started messing around with that, and with the fuel, and with the engine, and when everything was said and done, I went from 404 to 427 miles per hour. Now, I can mess around here for those of you in the metric system. Well, let me give you this here first, and then we'll go, and I'll flip everything over to metric since we're going to be discussing numbers. And a lot of my subscribers are international. Canadians are on the metric system. A lot of my users are Australian as well, English. Got some Germans, got some Poles. You're all welcome and love you to death, by the way. Wouldn't change a thing. My boost speed now is 599. And folks, that's in tier 10 territory. Okay. Maximum dive speed is 683. Okay. Those are very significant upgrades. Let's go over here to settings. We'll change over to the Imperial system. Metrics from the metric, I should say. We're going to apply that, and we're going to go look at the numbers again. All right. And there you have it. Cruise speed, now everything's in metric systems for you. Cruise speed now is 688 kilometers per hour. Boost speed is 965. Boost duration is 25. Maximum dive speed is 1100 kph. So it gives you a very good idea of how fast you can get some of these aircraft. Now, it's going to depend on what's available to them by the aircraft, but it opens up some possibilities and also removes any doubt that I had that the other guy was playing straight. Okay? And like I said, I'd hate to think that anybody, especially somebody I thought was one hell of a pilot and I kind of admired, and then think, oh, God, the guy's cheating. Well, take that out of your mind. At least where that fellow's concerned. I don't believe it. All right. And it makes me feel a lot better about it, too. All right. Your maneuverability on a 360 is 14.4. That's why I'm going to tell you that, getting into vigorous horizontal turns with somebody is an idiot's game. Okay? It's just not going to work out well for you. Unless it's another turn and burn. God knows, Right. And your altitude performance on this is pretty spectacular. 2,500 feet. Service ceilings 4,500 feet. 4,500 meters. I'm sorry, we're back on the Imperial system, aren't we? Or a metric system. And that throws me off a little bit. But anyway, I wanted to give that to you in the metrics so that you could relate. And we'll go back to settings, and I got to go back to Imperial because it just throws me way the heck off. Oh, by the way, I am going to, was flying with a friend of mine yesterday, having a lot of fun since the SR, and he didn't have this clicked off, and he hit the Windows key and got blasted while he got back into the game. So I'm going to recommend to everybody that you make sure that you disable your Windows key. Ooh, excuse me. It is, I guess I had a yawn inside me there somewhere. All right, I need some more coffee. I have my German chocolate cake flavored coffee with some sugar in it, and I cannot tell you how nice this is. Oh, lovely. Okay, so if anybody wants to know, send me a message, and I will give you the link on Amazon of where to get this stuff. Oh, it's so good. All right. If you like flavored coffee, I have friends of mine who wrinkle their nose up and think I'm a horrible person for even thinking it. All right. One other thing while we're doing this, let's go home, come back here. Didn't I put this on metric system? Or off of the metric system? Let's go back and look at settings here. Let's apply that this time. Thank you. If you go to the long-barreled, stock long barrels on these, I'm getting additional 6.8 firing range on that, which these guns are normally 26, 25, 26, 75, something like that. I got this all the way out to 80, 2851, 800 and some 80 something meters. And oh, is that lovely. And by going to enhance, I guess I might be able to get a little further. Well, I'm not really seeing that. I get an additional bonus characteristic. I don't have the gear for it anyway. But it is certainly worth investing in that. The downside of it is your burst length goes down a little bit, but yeah. Having a long reach with this is wonderful. Okay, so now I've been bragging about how fast this aircraft is, and we've talked about it. Let's go ahead and take it to battle, where I can promptly make a jerk out of myself and prove that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You're laughing, right? There have been more than a few videos where I've made a complete and total jerk out of myself. Had to trash them. But it gives you, what I'm going to try to show you here is the effect of this. All right. Now I actually look for ME-262s because they are easy to run down and kill. Other F2Hs because they can't really get away from me. And I got to be honest, this is a beautiful plane. Just love this thing. It gets frustrating when I come off a turn and burn because I immediately try to start using it like a turn and burn and get shot down on 1 or 2 games, and I think, oh, that's not how you use this. And I guess it's just muscle memory or something. Now you notice that we're climbing like crazy, and I want to follow the other bots in. And we're already at our maximum speed. Or not maximum, but anyway, above optimal altitude. And the first thing I have to worry about is slowing down. I just got mangled. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit my flaps because I'm going too fast. Alright, this is something you're going to have to get used to. And dealing with speed isn't always your friend. But where it comes in handy is when I throw in flaps and I'm slowing down. And. Take your flaps off. What? We're cruising around 480 miles an hour. Oh, he hit me with a rocket. That rocket no good. But he's also getting his tail handed to him very badly. And I should have jerked up a little bit, not giving him such a good target. Alright, let's see what we have here. And we have us a target-rich environment. Now, the F2H is what you really want here. He thinks he's too fast to be touched. Better hit flaps here. I'm going to need them. Okay. And I'm still moving along 520 miles an hour. Gaining speed like a wretch. And I notice that everybody's kind of stopped paying attention to me because they can't really reach me. Okay. I'll come back. Make a pass. Igor. I can make fun of the bots, guys. They don't get their feelings hurt. And we'll just come right on through. 601 miles an hour. And I'm still doing 540 miles an hour. Now, I'm not trying to do a max score here, something. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what the aircraft is capable of with these mods.
The enemy is launching rockets at us from the military base. Take action.
Thorson, yes, TA-183. Okay, anyway.
All positions are captured by the enemy. You must turn the tide of the battle.
These boys were playing to win, and I was over here trying to show demonstrations how it works. So please don't take this as more than what it is. But I wanted to give you a good idea of what is capable of the engine repairs when you have them. Okay?
The enemy is about to win. Push harder.
Well, let's see where we're at.
Attention all aircraft. Fall back and regroup.
Okay. But you get an idea of just how fast the aircraft can get. Its ups and downs. The speed also is something, it's great to have, but it's something you're going to have to deal with. Including, if you're using a joystick, get used to using your throttle. You're on a keyboard. Flaps are your friend, and you've got a speed brake, you will have to use it. All right, enough of this nonsense. Obviously I wasn't trying to do too much here. But it does answer some questions. Wanted to go over that with you, show you how to set this thing up. That's for a Banshee. May go into it further with this guy, because obviously, there's some things I want to do with the well, I think there's some possibilities here. Okay, so but I haven't spent just huge amounts of time in the Sabre, so we'll have to get into that later as I begin to advance the Tier 10s. Typically, you get up to Tier 10 and I show the aircraft, and then, I'll move on to another Tier 9, Tier 8, Tier 7, whatever I got, so I can show new content. Eventually, you're going to have all Tier 10s, and we'll go back and purchase old aircraft and take it from there, so we can keep the channel going. But you just haven't reached a point where I'm going to spend huge amounts of time on Tier 10 aircraft upgrades. And I've done some of it, obviously. I've got 10% on the gyroscope. This is being done as a turn and burn because I haven't really got that much I can do on the engines yet. But it does give the question, what if I went and changed this to a high output engine? And then you get your specialization and you unlock something else. And I don't know what's available to it yet. But, having a fast turn and burn can get really helpful. Now, I notice that they don't offer you any long barrels on the 50s, which would be really nice. Or, maybe they'll actually come out with a F-86F or E with the M39 cannons, and life will be so good. But I haven't heard anything about that yet. All right, gentlemen. You have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember to subscribe and to like the video. And we'll see you tomorrow.